Now with open eye and clear conscience, now I welcome una come on top the portmanteau again today. This is another program where they always they tell una say they get in mind to the chook mouth for all the matters where other programs them not they fit chook mouth put. And as now they say I'm na me Osagiato, that fine proud Benin boy. We all of una they call talk. Now just sit down here. So today we carry better matter. Can't give una on top the portmanteau. The matter we carry come now waiting government. Don't recently signed into law. That one I be the new tax reform bill where it don't become law for Nigeria now as me and you they talk. So that law go begin they operate from on the 1st of January 2026, and that law as I dey hear it carry many things follow body come, many things where go inconvenience us, and many things where go also make us dey very happy. You know, President Tinubu, when in the campaign that year, you hear wetin he talk. He say I go widen the tax net. I don't want to talk the other side because that other side now people no want hear at all. He say go widen the tax net, and true. President Tinubu just they concentrate, they put all the effort, all the mind on how to widen the tax net. It don't come with new reform concerning tax, and that reform now we say make we come touch light and make we come look into am as the law go take affect you, as it go take affect your business, as it go take affect your general mentality and your general well-being. Now we want discuss on top this episode of the portmanteau today, and we get our very big guest inside the studio. He don't dey here with us. Very shortly we go introduce him, and together we go join body discuss this new tax reform bill. So make I rush collect my coffee as everybody they collect, and so make una not go anywhere. When I go collect coffee come, we will come introduce our guest giver now.
Welcome to Zaki for Men Only. We are a brand and redefined bespoke wares for men. We are a brand with a total difference in fashion. Our clients' fashion sense and satisfaction is our utmost priority. We specialize in executive tailoring, wedding suits, ethnic fashion, casuals, and accessories. For bookings and inquiries, 08028612610. Instagram, Zaki for Men Only.
All right, our beautiful people, una welcome back again. This na still the portmanteau, that program where they tell us they get the mind to chook mouth for all the matters where other programs them not the fit chook mouth put. First and foremost, we want to say very big thank you to all of una where don't subscribe, give us on top YouTube. Those of una who never subscribe, wait una they wait for Mona, just check our YouTube address as they scroll on top the screen. So at the portmanteau TV, make una find us on top YouTube. Press that subscription button. Press that button where it be like bell. So say you don't join the class of VIP where go they receive the alert of every new episode where we they drop on top the show. And those of now where get any market, any product or any agenda one at the feel so now want advertise or now want push and make the word help una see am or make the word help una hear about time. Make una contact our marketing department. Their number just they scroll to on top the screen. So contact them, call them. They go book appointment with you. Una go discuss, and then they go tell you as your product or market or agenda go take come on top the portmanteau today. And then if we help you push them, believe you me, your market don't fly be that. Before we go collect coffee just now, we tell you now say our oga where we call come on top the show today don't dey inside studio with us. Recently federal government signed some new bill into law where they say they don't turn to act now, and that thing now waiting concern you, now waiting concern me as a market woman, as a market man, as a business person, or as a business entity. This act where government just signed, this new bill where government signed into law or into act, so it concern you, it concern me. Now the new tax reform bill where President Tinubu just append his signature to say from January 1 2026, so many things go begin to happen for our tax sector. The way where we dey pay tax go change, the way where we take the calculate tax sef, everything don change. So that's why we say make we bring this oga come, make it help us touch light some knowledge inside this new tax reform act wey they just sign so that when e reach January we no go come dey form say we no hear or we no know. So we get our very own big oga in the building. Now this one na one man wey I respect so much. For me to be able to get am to come on top the portmanteau today, oh my God, we travel far and wide o. We call far and wide, in short, where we no find this oga reach, but we thank God. God give us the privilege, say, make him come join body with us on top the program. Dr. Pius Edobor, in a chartered accountant, in a certified tax personnel, and in a certified forensic fraud examiner. He dey here with us on top the show today. Oga Pius Edobor, it's good to have you on the portmanteau today.
Thank you, Doctor. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm really glad that I could make it here. It's not been an easy one. We've been talking for quite some time now about the possibility of us coming to share knowledge about the new Tax Reform Act. And I'm glad that I'm here today. I thank every one of our viewers, and I'm glad. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Oga. Make we not take your time too much. Recently, make we start with this one first. Okay. Recently, the World Trade Organization Director General, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, he visit Nigeria and he get meeting with President Tinubu. You know, after the meeting, the mama come out say Nigeria now have a stable economy. You understand? So when she talk that word, it can generate so many reactions, both online and offline. You get so many people come, they wonder, say, how you go say upon all this suffering, upon all these things where people they face for Nigeria, you say economy stable. How? You understand? So when the argument they go on, one renowned economist, Dr. Yemi Kale, you know, in the MD for Afrexim Bank, you know, he can talk, say it is very possible. Say make economy and make a stable economy coexist with hardship. That one I call through more confusion. Say how is it possible? Say make a stable economy they coexist, they run side by side with hardship for inside one country. So again, many of us don't understand. I mean, if you just help us explain what they try to.
Okay, thank you so much. I understand the feelings and the sentiment of everybody. And I also understand where our big madam was coming from to say we now have a stable economy in Nigeria. If we take a reflection to 2 years back when this administration took over power, they removed subsidy from petroleum, they regulated the forex market that has been hitherto so very opaque that you want to import things, you cannot even get forex at the official rate. And so they deregulated that segment. And the initial reaction was that the Naira began to crash and the exchange rate began to fluctuate. So bad that last year the rates went from about 800 to 900 to 1,000 to 1,002, 1,005, 1,718 to 2,000 before it began to come down again. At that point, you cannot plan. You could get into the market today, buy things at exchange rate of 1,200 Naira. By the time you go back to restock your shop, exchange rate has gone to 1.6, so it was difficult to plan. But for some time now, the exchange rate has been stable around 1,006, 1,005. In recent time, it has been around the band of 1,005. So you can really plan with the exchange rate, and it has guided people doing business that their prices could be relatively fixed and stable. That is what he's saying. But that does not mean that because it is stable now, the cost of food item in the market has dropped. No. It means that it can be predicted. Compared to where we're coming from, where you were buying rice at maybe 25,000 a bag, now it's around 75,000, 80,000. You can only plan, but the price, the inflation rate hasn't come down. Prices hasn't dropped yet. So I agree with Professor Kale that a stable economy can coexist with hardship, and that is what we are facing now. We hope that with the initiative of the government, Statistics show that the food inflation is still the highest inflation in Nigeria.
Exactly.
Recently, Mr. President has spoken to his team to look into how they can bring down the cost of food items. If this begin to work, then we could now begin to experience probably a release or a relief from the hardship that we presently have in the land. So I agree, a stable economy, yes, and it can also coexist with hardship.
Nice one. One thing that I have problem with, with our government is when they are giving orders. You understand?
Okay.
When you just give orders, because I read that word of Mr. President giving orders to immediately crash the cost or the price of foodstuffs.
Okay.
You understand? What about those things that contributes to the production of these foodstuffs?
Yeah.
Are they readily available to farmers? Do we have the road infrastructure to transport food produce from the interiors to the town?
Okay.
You understand what I'm trying to say? Do we have, what it takes to make this food price actually come down?
Okay.
Have the government invested in this? What investment have they made? Because some time ago we have an agri practitioner here on the show, and the man said so many things that made me almost shed tears. On the other, government, they are not even taking farming serious. You get? So it is easy to give order that food price should crash, but what about those things that makes food production work?
Okay. Well, I share your sentiment, which is absolutely correct, because to just give orders may not translate to seeing things happen, but it is just like we say, it is the foundation. To give orders to the think tank committees, they will now need to sit down to really identify the major drivers of this food inflation. Majorly, it will be insecurity that people, the farmers within the Benue, the Niger, the production basis of Nigeria are finding it difficult to go to their farmlands. And if they are able to identify this, then they should be able to suggest solutions that will get the farmers back to their farmland, go back to food production, and this will also facilitate. Then also things about technology, infrastructures within the agri value chain, that will also boost production. The seedlings that we use to availability of tractors, equipment within that value chain will also help those that want to go into it. Another major thing is graduates that want to go into agriculture. How easy will it be for them to get land? So if government look at all of these restrictions, limitation inhibiting food production in Nigeria, and they come up with fantastic solution, there will be in that trajectory of not only bringing down the cost of inflation when it comes to food, then Nigeria can now become a net exporter of food item. When we have a lot of able-bodied men, the population of Nigeria speaks in our favor. If we have a good number of that population going to farm, I think Nigeria will be another destination that the world will be looking up to when they come to exportation of food. We have fantastic land climate. We have a fantastic environment. And everything is in our favor to boost food production.
The government just have to put in some more seriousness into food production in Nigeria, because their body language is not showing they're really serious to make agri, an alternative source of generating revenues. You understand? That's it. So, sir, why we actually brought you here was the tax reform bill, that has just been signed into, law, into becoming an act. I was curious, we grew up to know that we pay tax. Yeah. We grew up to know our parents, they when they say, they don't come out tax from my salary. This is what we say, they don't come out this, they don't come out that. Then later they introduced VAT. I knew VAT was not part of our tax regime earlier, but later they introduced VAT and we started paying VAT on everything we buy and every stuff. I think we have a good tax regime existing. You understand? The only problem I had was implementation. Okay. You get? So now, the president of this administration now came up and they said they want to do a tax reform.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? And I was cracking joke that we have been crying for constitutional reform. Our constitution has been even confirmed defective, right from the beginning. And then we have been clamoring for constitutional reform. Both present government and past government, they have not taken it serious. They've turned deaf ears to it. But this now, tax reform, within within a short period of months, they've come with new tax reforms and they have proved it into law. What is wrong with the previous tax regime that this tax reform is aiming to correct?
Okay, thank you very much. A lot of things were wrong with many of the various tax regimes.
Okay.
A lot of things were wrong with it. As an operator within that space, we have a lot of challenge making our returns. The tax authority will come up with additional assessment because there are various loopholes within the tax laws. And over time, the government has been trying to address these loopholes by coming up with various finance acts. It has now become more like on a yearly basis. The finance minister will propose various finance acts sent to the National Assembly to amend some specific aspect of the tax law. But that has not really cured the defect within the tax laws, which has been, some of them have been in existence for as long as maybe 40, 50 years, that the reality on ground today does not really support that. And so there was a need to update the tax law that we have, which the Taiwo Oyedele committee took the bull by the horn, and they did a fantastic job. Well, if you now want to compare that to the clamor for constitutional change, your guess will be as good as mine, because the constitution was a crafting of the military, foisted on the Nigerian populations. It was done to protect those that are in power. And so every subsequent government who come in to benefit from those ills within the constitution would not want to address or redress it. It will take a saint who comes to power to really look in the way of constitutional amendment. But anybody benefiting from this lacuna in the constitution will not want it to change because of what they stand to benefit. But the tax also has its own benefit on the government, because when the present president was campaigning, he made some suggestion that he was going to widen the tax nets. He made those promises during campaigns. And so coming into power and then facing that head-on was more like delivering it on his campaign promises to the people. So I don't see anything bad in what he has done. He made that promise. I don't think he made a promise to review the constitution, but he made a promise to widen the tax net. And what the committee did is part of fulfilling that promise. And maybe with time, we may begin to deep dive into some of the various tax laws that had issues that require amendment, which this present tax regime has come into cure.
Okay, nice one, because that is going to really take us to the next phase of this conversation, because like I said, we have a tax regime before, and this newly reformed bill, is going to take effect from January 1st. Yeah. What are the significant changes that has occurred that is going to make taxation easier for both the payers and then those that are receiving? Okay,
there are so many incentives within the new tax law, and there are so many changes. Let me start with maybe the good side before we move on to the not too comfortable side. Because you cannot eat your cake and have it back. If you're talking of for reform, it has to cut across. Sometimes it comes with pain, and most time it comes with gain. So let's look at some of the gains within this new tax law. Some of the benefits that accrue to small industries is that the tax net for the small industry has been somehow relaxed a bit. That companies that are making turnover of less than 100 million are exempted from taxes. that will promote the growth of SMEs in Nigeria. That is on one side. The company income tax has been maintained at 30%, so it means that companies are not paying more, even though we expected that this should come down in line with global realities where taxes are dropping globally. But at least it has remained stable. Rate of increase proposed for VAT was not affected, so VAT still remain at the same rate. So that
which
is
is 7.5, right?
7.5%.
Yeah.
Now, for those that are into the sale of shares, that trade in shares, there has been some kind of level of relief that if you make a sale within the value of 100 million, that is exempted from tax. And then if you make a profit of 10 million and below, it is also exempted for tax. That will help to deepen investment within the capital markets for those that want to trade in that. Then also the pioneer regime has also been tweaked. Previously, you have a regime of maximum of about 5 years. Now it has been increased to 10 years. The initial period is for 5 years, and it's also renewable for another tenure of 5 years, making 10 years cumulatively. So there have been so many gains or benefits within. If we look within the space of stamp duty, there has been a lot of clarity there because a lot of ambiguity had been there. The old stamp duty law wasn't too specific. The law says that the stamp duty to be used on an instrument is, I think, 15 kobo or so. But there's no more stamp of 15 kobo in the market.
At all.
The list of all the stamp is 50 kobo. So people have been using, 50 naira. People have been using 50 naira stamp. But now it has been streamlined that for transaction you pay about 1,000 naira, which is more like reality within what we see in the country presently. And then items that are subjected to stamp duty has been well specified. If you're buying land within Nigeria and the cost of the land is 10 million and below, it's exempted from stamp duty.
Wow.
Which is not like the former regime that even if you buy a land of 100 naira, you pay stamp duty on it. So these are benefits coming. Then on the flip side too, there are some also pains that people will also
pass through.
Experience.
You know what, sir? Let's take a pause on that.
Okay.
You know, the flip side there, because that is where a lot of people will have a very strong interest in. You understand? We will take a very short break. When we come back, now that we've have the good side on one side, so let's also have the other side on the other side. You understand what I'm trying to say? So my people, make una no go anywhere. We'll just take this short break. When we come back, we'll come enter. We don't talk about the gains. We'll come talk about the pains, you know, of this new tax reform bill. Make una no go anywhere. Will they come back now?
Welcome to Zaki for Men Only. We are a brand and redefined bespoke wares for men. We are a brand with a total difference in fashion. Our clients' fashion sense and satisfaction is our utmost priority. We specialize in executive tailoring, wedding suits, ethnic fashion, casuals, and accessories. For bookings and inquiries, 08028612610. Instagram, Zaki for Men Only.
All right, our beautiful people, una welcome back again. This na still the portmanteau today. That program will tell us they get the mind to chook mouth for all the matters where other programs are not the fit chook mouth put. We don't carry a tax reform bill where President Tinubu just signed into law, and now we carry come on top the show today, and we still get our big oga inside our studio here, and together we don dey torchlight inside this new tax reform bill where it just become law recently. day. He don't tell us so many things about the tax reform bill. He don't tell us the good parts, why we supposed to be happy, say President Tinubu take the initiative to bring this tax reform bill where he don't sign into law. Now we want to look at the other side of it. Why we suppose they worried about this new tax reform bill where it don't become law. Dr. Pius Edobor, we want to say thank you for this time where you come spend with us on top of the departmental today. You don't tell us why we suppose they happy about this new tax reform bill where it don't turn to law. Oh yeah, now make we see why we suppose they worry. Okay. You understand?
Okay. Thank you so much. Like I said, there are so many good things about the new tax law. But there are still some also bitter pills for us to swallow. And for us it's a bitter pill, but for government it's a good thing, because whatever we are losing as individual, government is gaining. So it's more like an zero-sum game. The loss of one person is a gain to another person. So we as taxpayers will count it, say it's a bitter pill for us to swallow. But I'll start with our personal income tax. Before now, we enjoy some relief, consolidated relief allowances, but that has been taken out in the new tax regime. So your income is subject to tax. But there is only one relief that is still left, which is the rent allowance. And that is a maximum of either 500,000 or 20% of the rent paid, whichever is lower.
Okay.
So that is available, but our consolidated rent relief allowances has been taken out of it. Then our tax regime too has also changed. For people earning between 0 naira to 20 million, the tax liability will reduce. Okay. But those earning above 20 million naira will need to now pay more under the new tax regime. So it means invariably the more you work, the more
tax you pay,
which is more like a progressive tax regime. So that is some pains that the high income earners will need to bear under the new tax regime. The good thing is that it's not starting immediately. It will start by January 1st, 2026. Then other thing is about VAT collection. The new law empowers the revenue, the tax authority, to implement e-invoicing. And that will mean that they may decide to deploy some gadgets that the taxpayer will connect to their system within their office, that as they are invoicing their customer, the tax authority is seeing it. The VAT they deduct or charge from it, or they fail to charge if it is VATable, the tax authority will also know. At the end of the period, when they make their filing of their VAT returns with what they have paid, the tax authority will compare to what they are supposed to pay. So if they remitted less, they will be made to pay for the difference. The cost in this is that some of the equipment that the tax authority may deploy, either software or register, the taxpayer may need to spend a little money to upgrade their system to accommodate it. That is the pay. But in the area of collection, there's no difference because the VAT rates remain the same, 7.5%. It didn't change. And then again, for a big organization that are making well over 20 billion naira, if their effective tax rate is below 15%, the minimum effective tax rate is 15%. So that minimum will be applied to them. So they may be required to pay what we call top-up tax. So that is
top up.
Yeah, top up tax. So that may also be a little bit of a bitter pill for them to bear, because the minimum tax rate regime before now, it's lower than the 15% effective tax rate. So these are some of the pills that taxpayer will need to. And then also the issue of penalty has been increased to deter people that are not complying. Apart from the amount they have to pay, they could also go to jail for failure to deduct and remit taxes to governments. So everybody needs to be careful and do the right thing. I think these are some of those bitter pills that the taxpayer need to now.
It's really bitter. It's really bitter. You know why I'm worried, sir? You know, in this part of the world, you know, you have touched on it. I want us to delve a little bit into the implementation aspect.
Okay.
You know, Nigerians, I'm sorry to say, we are very funny. And right from time, you know, the Nigerian society, you know, I'm not talking about the up. Now, you know, this program represents those from the middle class, you know, down to the grassroots. Okay. I'm talking about this set of people now. We are just trying to make them begin to buy into, because this tax, you know, is also going, the financial institutions are also going to be heavily involved, okay, you know, in trying to implement, you know, most of these reforms. And, you know, right now we are just trying to making people to accept, you know, operating with the financial institutions, okay, especially with the advent of these new fintech banks. And if you look closely, you discover that most of these grassroots people who operate with these fintech banks, they just use it as means of collecting money, transferring money, paying. You know, most of them don't even save, you know, as in having savings there. So where I'm driving at is this: how are we going to monitor? Because when it comes to this, now many people will begin to do transaction outside the conventional financial institutions. Nigerians are not afraid of carrying cash. Okay. Nigerians are not afraid of keeping cash in their homes, and this is just maybe a plot, you know, to reduce the amount of tax they pay, just so that their banking transaction will not get to a limit where they will start paying high tax. Okay. You get what I'm trying to say? So what are we going to be guiding against all this? Because this might also cause that money will be scarce in the hands of financial institutions.
Well, for me, I don't see the possibility of that. Discouraging savings or discouraging transacting or using the banking system for transactions, because you look at the flip side of it. If you begin to do cash transaction to avoid some taxes, the risk of holding cash is high. It's higher than the tax you are trying to avoid. So the risk of being attacked by thieves or robbers, or the risk of your staff also making away with your cash. So you also need to balance it,
all these things,
the cost benefit, what you're trying to save and the risk you're going to, which one is a better evil to accept. So the tax on transaction, it's minimal compared to the risks you stand if you begin to do cash transactions.
Yeah.
So all right. I don't see that as discouraging.
All right. So the new tax reform bill, you know, has been segmented into 4. Okay. You understand me now? We have the tax bill, we have the tax administration bill, okay, we have the establishment of the new revenue service bill, and then we also have the joint revenue board. Okay. You understand? I know the first 2 is what concerns individuals and then corporate organizations. Okay. Then the other 2, I think, is about implementation and those that are saddled with the responsibility of making sure people comply, you know, with this bill. So now this revenue service and the revenue board, what are their differences? Are they not also doing the same work?
Okay. The revenue service, it's the former FIRS, Federal Inland Revenue Service. There has been this agitation that the name makes it look like a body owned by the federal government, okay, instead of the Nigerian entity. Okay. So that's why the name was changed to the Nigeria Revenue Service. That it is not doing a service just to the federal government, but it's doing a service to all the federating units within Nigeria. So it is just a name change, and it also comes with some operational changes too, that they will now be better run more like a serious business concern. Rather than a civil servant extension. Wow. And there's going to be appointment of executive directors, so maybe the CEO that will be in charge of the body. So it is the same FIRS, but the name change has a new nomenclature to make it more Nigerian than inclining to the federal
government.
Yeah.
Then the revenue.
The Joint Revenue Board used to be the Joint Tax Board.
Okay.
So there's also a name change, and also there are some operational efficiency that have been built into it, that they have to have offices in all the geopolitical zone of the country for operational efficiency, and then they will have a chairman in charge of all of them that will be sitting regularly. The essence of this is to reduce friction between the tax authority and the taxpayer.
Okay.
They act more like an arbiter.
Okay.
Where you could go to if you feel that you are unjustly assessed to tax by the tax authority, and they will look at it, and they are going to use the law to look at it. And that is even why the implementation of this law, it's a little bit better than the former one, that the tax authorities are not just left to decide whatever they want, because you have places you can go to for redress. In the new tax law, there's the Office of the Ombudsman that has been set up, that you can go to for resolution of any tax matter. They will look at it, and they will look at it with the law, not looking at it with what the revenue staffs are saying. They will look at it with what is the law saying about it, and then they will take their decision on it. And the cost of approaching them is usually lower than the cost of going to a conventional court to seek redress. The use of the ombudsman does not also preclude you from accessing the conventional court if whatever judgment that is given there you feel you are not satisfied about it. So you can still seek redress in the conventional court. So these are some of the new initiatives that is meant to strengthen the implementation of this law.
This has not been part of us. Tax paying, we only hear if you go to developed world, they pay tax, they do this, they do that. But here in Nigeria, taxation has not really been part of us. So getting people to acclimatize or getting people to adhere to this new tax reform bill, I am looking at it like it's going to be a very, very Herculean task for the government. You understand? But that being said, there is nothing that is impossible. And also this new tax identification number, we are hearing that without it, you cannot operate a bank account. So how effective, or what is the significance of this?
Okay. Let me start with our culture against the payment of tax. Everybody believes that why should I be paying tax? I work for my money, I make the money, and some do not even see the contribution of government in making that money. So why should I give something to government out of it? So there is this culture of trying to evade tax. It is not peculiar to Nigeria, it is general worldwide, but it is just the system that will make people to comply more. It is the system, and that is why even in UK recently, a very high-ranking government agent was being dragged about not paying the right tax about a property.
Yes.
So it is not peculiar to Nigeria, but the ability of the system to catch up with you and also punish you for trying to evade tax, that is the main thing. And that is what is happening, is playing out in Nigeria, that the laws is coming up. We're creating more awareness. What you're doing also is creating awareness. The Taiwo Yedele Committee went around the 36 states of the Federation to create further awareness. So the awareness is there now, that people know that, okay, it is your civic responsibility to pay tax to government. The use of that tax is another kettle of fish on its own, but first you need to pay tax before you begin to demand accountability.
Right.
It is where you yourself, you are accountable by doing the right thing. Then you can now ask the other man to also be accountable in the use of your tax. So we'll get to that, but it's a phase. We're moving gradually. We're going to get there. Now the issue of tax ID. It is just a way of bringing everybody within the tax net.
Okay.
Your tax ID will be unique to you, just like the BVN. Wherever you are doing transactions, you quote your tax ID, and it can also be traced everywhere within the financial institution. So it could be seen if you have been paying your tax up to date, or you have been evasive with the payment of your tax. So the tax ID is just to bring everybody within the tax dragnet, which is okay. Most of us have IDs that even without a new tax ID coming into play, the government can easily see what is going into your account. They have the facility to know what is going to everybody's account, in as much as you maintain accounts with a bank. So, but this is just to make it easier and better for everybody.
That's good. Thank you so very much. Where I always have problem with Nigerian government is the area of creating awareness about whatever they are doing, because you just up there, you are talking, and it's almost like you are only communicating to people up there. What about the grassroots people? I have not seen anything like posters, handbills being shared in the marketplace, because these are what they should be doing right now. You understand? Because right now I want to walk on the street and see somebody hand an handbill to me, which contains what is coming concerning this new tax reform bill. So what advice do you have for the government about awareness, creating awareness for this?
Well, I must first and foremost commend the effort of government at creating awareness for these new tax laws, because since even before the signing of the tax bill into law, there have been a lot of engagement with various stakeholders.
Yes, I know. What I'm saying is the grassroots people, these market women that says, because it's also going to affect them in one way or the other.
Yeah, what we're doing now is also to create awareness. If you go to the YouTube and Google the Nigerian new tax laws, you see a lot of things that have been
materials
done within that space. All of these are creating awareness. Though we may say this may not, we cannot create this awareness. But as much as we have the opportunity, we can't just leave everything in the hand of government. Recently, the outcry by NLC is also creating awareness about the 5% fossil fuel. That was also part of the new law, which would have also been part of the painful bill I would have spoken about. But the government, when NLC raised this, it was also to create an awareness for the people. So, like I said, the task of creating awareness is not limited to the government. Labor unions, employers, professionals,
trade associations,
they are all to create an awareness to begin to prepare their people for the implementation of this new law. And a whole lot has been done, and I can assure you, even if you go online now, there is one body or one person that is doing the same thing we're doing now, and that is also to create an awareness. Almost every Nigerian now know that there is a 5% fossil fuel in the bill that was supposed to commence presumptuously on the 1st of January 2026. And when this came to fall, government had to come up through the chairman of the tax reform committee to say, no, this had always been a law under the FEMA Act. But we're trying to harmonize every law so that you pick a document, you see the complete law in Nigeria. That is one. Two, the implementation is not automatic. It is subject to when the president or through the Minister of Finance give it activation.
All right. So that 5% is there.
Yeah, it has always been there. But nobody has been implemented. It has not been implemented. So still the same thing. They just also copy it and put in this new act.
Yeah.
Implementation is subject to the president giving directive through the Minister of Finance. And I'm sure they too know what is going on in the country. They wouldn't want to distort the already stable economy by bringing in this new tax into operation on the first day of January 2026. So these are all opportunities to create awareness for the Nigerian people. They are all opportunities. So it is left for every one of us. We shouldn't just leave it in the hand of government alone.
Before we finally call it a wrap, you have any message, for the people, maybe advice, economic advice? We have just 2 minutes to round it up.
Okay. Well, my advice with regards to the new tax law is everybody needs to get a copy of the tax law and digest it, read, understand it, know your responsibility so that you are not caught on the wrong side of the law. To comply is always cheaper than being caught and then you now have to pay what you are supposed to pay ordinarily. You pay penalties and you also pay fines. That will be too much. So it is good to know what you are supposed to do and do the right thing at the right time. And then we should also have faith in the government. I know it is a bit difficult looking at the ostentatious lifestyle of our political class, but they are part of us. They were also elected from among us. They did not just fall from the sky. They are your brothers, they are my brothers. So let us have hope and then begin to hold everybody accountable. For me, whatever we're going to do, either we want to disagree with them, let's do it in a civil manner, because Nigeria belongs to every one of us. If Nigeria goes up in flame, it will affect every one of us. So it is in our best interest to maintain peace in Nigeria, and then also to hold our leaders accountable for us to see a better Nigeria that will be glorious for you and I and for the generation on board.
Please don't be caught up in the negative side of this tax reform bill. Not let God, the government, and every day they look for scapegoats. Not let them use you to scapegoat. Not let them take you announce the penalty or the problem where they pay tax will face. Avoid that. Thank you so much, Dr. Pius Edobor. It's always a pleasure having you. We hope to bring you back. We hope to bring you back again very soon. Because in January, I'm sure so many things are going to crop up out of this. And so we would like to have you again so that you come and put some clarifications on one or two other things that might come up.
I will be glad to always be here.
All right, thank you so much. Now, so we'll take Quest Generator on top of the show today. Not forget, say you be Niger. Anywhere where you date, make you the rep this country well. Not follow them, put hand for waiting, go spoil this country name. Not do drugs because you don't get any better thing where they do for body. On to the next one, I say make una hold on our chest time.